You know, folks, when it comes to crappie fishing, this time of year in Tennessee in the depths of winter gets really cold. The water gets at its coldest point of the year, really clears up. It's a good time of the year to think, go slower, more methodical with your retrieve, and maybe smaller pound test line as well. You know, drop down to 2 pound, 4 pound test with a really small jig and think real as slow as you can go. For me, that's one of the reasons I like to use the jig under a bobber. That bobber can help you to really slow the retrieve down, whether you're looking at having just an extremely slow, steady retrieve, which is what I like at times, is just that really slow, steady retrieve. With a tiny jig, my choice this time of year would be a little hand-tied feather jig. That's just what I've had pretty good luck with, but you could use any tiny jig would probably work, you know, whatever color combination you decide or what you think your particular fish on your lake like. The main thing is slow it down and try to go a little smaller. Smaller and slow is the ticket. And as a bonus tip for you beginning crappie fishermen, always keep a good sharp hook. Always check your hook on a regular basis, particularly if you get hung up in some brush or something of that nature. You can easily bend the very tip of your hook out if you're not careful. You think about it, a hook comes to a really sharp point. To get to that sharp point, there's not a lot of metal there, so it does not take much to dull your hook, particularly if you get a really, really sharp hook. If you start off with a dull hook and it gets duller, you may not even notice it. And unfortunately, that can be a problem. I've experienced it. I know from past experience just grabbing some old jig out of the tackle box years ago and not really even thinking or considering, whether the hook was really all that sharp. I know I lost a lot more fish back then, along that process of fighting the crappie and trying to get him in. I'd ultimately have a lot that would just seem to get off, but now that doesn't happen as much, particularly when I watch that hook. A really razor sharp hook will catch you more fish as well. You'll lose less fish, and I believe you will catch more fish because there is a chance when you get a bite that the crappie will try to spit the hook back out, or the hook will just come out of the mouth without contacting enough meat to really embed itself. But with a really needle sharp hook, it does not take much in the way of contact with the crappie's mouth for that hook to set in there, so embed itself. So that is a bonus tip. Keep that hook sharp, and it's not that hard to do. So maybe in future videos we'll take a closer look at how I keep my hook sharp there. So